welcome to Nosey Roads and Helens. On behalf of Micron Video and your Saints Video, we're joined again due to the game being televised on Sky this evening, and obviously we're poo-pooed to the director's box at Nosey Road, but it's a good spec. Warrington team out first on the pitch, but here come the Saints. Jonathan Griffiths is the captain again, and today's match day mascot is Sarah Hayes, 6.5 years of age she is. She attends Nutgrove Methodist, and her hobbies are dancing, reading and watching the Saints. It's a big day for this young lady. She's out there with her favourites. Her favourite player is David Lyon. Unfortunately David is injured, and she's been on the pitch earlier on having a photograph taken with Paul Lachlan. Anyway, the Saints side for this afternoon: Phil Beavers at full back, Steve Prescott, Ian Pickervance, Paul Lachlan and Andy Haig are the three quarters. Griffiths and O'Donnell the half-back pairing, with Janet, Hodgkinson and Harrison in the front row. Joint Nicol and Casey the back three. McAtee and Riley are the subs. The Warrington side: Lee Penny at full back, Forster, Bateman, Davis and Myler the three quarters. Ellis and Mackey the half-back pairing, with Chambers, Thursfield and Phillips the front row. Derbyshire, Gregory and Shelford the back three. Elliott and Hilton on the bench. Captains there, centre field, John Griffiths and Greg Mackey. Greg Mackey, Bill, captain for Warrington, yes. And the match day mascot today is Sarah Hayes. Young lady there out with the match day referee for today, John Connolly. So big day for young Sarah, 6.5 years of age. She'll obviously relish this the chance to be out there with her favourites. Anyway, as I said, we're joined with Micron, and joining me this afternoon I've Bill, the Warrington commentator, just as Sarah comes over here to our commentary position today. But it's obviously top of the league, Bill, and looking forward to going clear altogether this afternoon.
Well, it would be nice, Ron. It's going to take a lot of hard work for that to be the case here at Knowsley Road. As long as you've got the likes of Chris Joint and Sonny Nicol, Paul Lachlan knocking about on the park. St Helens have got plenty of firepower. Brian Johnson on the way here has pointed out to the Warrington club. It's getting tight at the top of the league. You've got to pull your fingers out to stay there. Warrington under no illusions whatsoever. Got back to winning ways last week against Leeds, but a different day today. Warrington will start the game. Jonathan Davis will kick off. Here's Ron to describe the action.
Thanks, Bill. Yes, Saints first to receive, and obviously they've got to pull themselves together after that drubbing, 34 points to 2 at the Willow Salford last Wednesday. It's going to take a big effort with Eric using his lads to get back, but right in at the action there, Mr. Connolly going in and saying the tackle was high. Early penalty, usually, Bill, well, what are we talking about? 20 seconds there, and the referee's in. Let's hope he's not a stop-start job.
Well, referees are one of my favourite subjects. These two teams can play good attacking football. Close rivalry, the old derby job. Warrington looking to go top, as you say, cleared on their own. Saints got a bit of a battering in midweek. A lot of blokes out there, Ron, you wouldn't normally see. No bigger motivation than playing for your shirt. Oh
no, there's that about it, Bill, yes. All positions up for grabs, but a terrible injury list the Saints have. And Chris Joint tries to slip it out, but good tackling again, and that's where Saints fell down, in my opinion, the other day, Bill. Unfortunately, the tackling at Salford left a lot to be desired. But Tommy Hodgkinson there, another player that's impressed, slipped in the hooking position with the injury to Bernard Dwyer, and obviously Gus O'Donnell there, who just chipped the ball up, getting an extended run at the scrum half berth. But all positions up for grabs, but just one of those things. You get the injuries, and unfortunately, you just got to get on with it, haven't you? But it's Warrington in possession.
Thanks, Ron, yeah. Warrington there, breaking the quarter line, finding themselves on the back foot in the early stages. Here's Gary Chambers, back after a 5-week absence. He was one of the form props in the competition when he went away. Ball goes into midfield. That's Greg Mackey for Roland Phillips. Phillips driving it in. Ball's come out in the tackle. Mackey flicks it. Here's Kelly Shelford. Shelford has a gap. He's attacking O'Donnell. Shelford cuts play, picking up big yardage there. Round of applause comes in from the many Warrington fans. Mike Gregory's fed out for Jonathan Davis. Play developing far side, sun in our eyes. Here in the director's box. Ball comes infield. Here's Shelford once again, instigates most of the moves. Mark Forster's chasing his 100th career try for the Warrington club. Safely cleared up at the back by Phil Beavers. Got an obstruction in our way here. Possession for the Saints, Ron.
Yes, the The planned ploy, obviously, by Warrington, the kick through. But it looks like Andy Haig coming away with the ball. Warrington lad, Andy Haig, from the Crossfields club, but signed at the end of last season. The ball going back. Well, the referee doesn't say it's gone back. He says it's gone forward. Well, it looks no offside he's given. I don't know, Bill. No, it's a scrum down anyway. It's going to be Warrington feed and Greg Mackey to feed. It did come away with it, but now it's back with Warrington.
Thanks, Ron. It's Kevin Ellis going midfield. Sean Casey on the tackle wearing 13. Thursfield goes to acting half. Gary Chambers runs into Chris Joint. Assisted there by John Harrison wearing 10. Made his comeback in midweek. Here's Roland Phillips. Breaks the quarter line. Warrington stacked deep right. Attacking the end where most of the Warrington supporters are today at Knowsley Road is skipper Greg Mackey. Throws it inside. Mike Gregory. Super tackle comes in there. Saints looking sharp on defence. Kelly Shelford's gone. Throws a ball in field. Bit of a breakdown in communication. Usual 10 stages run, nothing between the two teams. Wouldn't like to put the commentators' tenor on the outcome at this point.
Where's the tenor coming from, Bill? Yes, Warrington tried to spread it there. Shelford trying to release it. It was a bad ball, and Griffiths came in on the tackle, and Warrington came up with the error. Saints get the scrum, the feed from the scrum, and now it's big John Harrison driving forward. Been out for, well, I bet the best part of 12 months, if not even more than 12 months. A category of, a catalogue, I should say, of injury for John Harrison. Sonny Nicholl gets the ball away, Gus O'Donnell. Phil Vevers has it now. Saints spread it quickly over on the far side. Approaching the halfway line, well, the ball released and got into touch on the far side, as Bill would say, Bill was saying, at the Eddington end, a healthy Warrington travelling spectators and a good crowd all round, even though Saints are not having the best of runs in the league, with two wins, I beg your pardon, out of the last 7 games, but a quite healthy crowd, and it's going to be a good match irrespective of what happened last week. Should be Warrington feed, Bill?
Yeah, looks like it. Happy to be able to report from Knowsley Road at this stage that both the teams are looking to throw it about, entertain this big crowd that Ron's talking about. Here's Lee Penny. Breaks the half. Tackle coming in there from Jonathan Griffiths. Ball comes short side. Shot for a forward pass. Wasn't. Match officials on top of the job. Roland Phillips then. 3 St Helens players putting an end to the run. Here's Thursfield for Greg Mackey. Mackey will feed Mike Gregory. Gregory turns it inside. Shelford well tackled. Lee Penny has a yard. Feeds it out far side. Jonathan Davis showing you his step. Super tackle John Harrison. Things boiling up nicely. Now in the 6th minute. Exciting football. Greg Mackey chips it up for Mark Forster. The ball bounces into touch. One of the things you can say about the First Division this year, Ron, apart from, say, the League Club, no easy games, no gimmies, and you can usually guarantee close fought encounters, Ron. Yes,
you can, even though the end result hasn't been quite close, Bill, in a lot of occasions, but yes, apart from Lee. But speaking of Lee, Bill, we've got to go there next Sunday, and unfortunately Saints came adrift last season, and I look at it as though that cost Saints the championship. But Saints are in possession, and Paul Loughlin has the ball, and only a good performance by the lads today, which will give them a boost, obviously, for the league game next week. Now it's Tommy Hodgkinson moving the ball right. Saints on the break, and Steve Prescott. Oh, excellent tackle there on the far side. Rob Myler, I think, that brought him down, but Saints putting the gas pedal down. Can they get early points on the board? O'Donnell out to Sean Casey. Must be a try. Oh, Casey's in. Super try by the Saints. They bring it from one side to the other, but it was a break down that right wing. Rob Myler for Warrington, he completed the tackle on Steve Prescott for a quick transference of the ball. He moved it over from the right wing to the left, created a hole in the Warrington defence, and Sean Casey goes in for his first try of the season.
Yeah, thanks, Ron. Super St Helens try there. Warrington did that last week. They let Leeds score first early on, then ran in 37 points. However, just to start the St Helens club wanted.
And Casey, he's an excellent player. He can play anywhere. Loose forward, I think, is his favourite position. He's a good ball handler, and obviously we've got to be looking to these youngsters coming through and, well, obviously grooming them, bringing them into the first team and giving them the chance. But the try unconverted, nearly 9 minutes gone, and Saints have possession back. Steve Prescott on the far side. He's blistering pace, this Prescott, but an excellent tackle by Rob Myler just earlier on. But Saints bring it away. Good drive there by Ian Pickavance. The Saints' outstanding player in the midweek drubbing by Salford. But Andy Dannett taking up the running. Super yardage by the Saints as they come up to the halfway line. The ball fed infield. Loughlin takes it well. He sees the gap. He tries for it. But Warrington tidy up. They cover up. And Warrington defence usually watertight, but being tested this afternoon. Gus O'Donnell chips it down for the corner. Lee Penny will let it run. But good yardage there by the Saints, Bill. Unfortunately putting Warrington under a lot of pressure. You would expect Warrington, obviously, at the top of the table to come here today. You can't be complacent, but Saints have had an excellent start.
Well, you use the word complacent, Ron. Not seen any yet. It's been all St Helens territorially and in possession. Game will settle down. We've just got outside the first 10 minutes now. Usually expect the home team to call the shots early on. Warrington with bags of pace in the three quarters. Got the forwards to do the job on the park. And here's one of them, ex-Great Britain skipper, Mike Gregory. Ball within the Warrington red zone at this point then. There's Gary Chambers making the quarter line. Snappy tackling from St Helens, being well led by Griffiths at this point. Here's Phillips, head down. Gets shut to Saints hooker, Hodkinson, and picks up big yardage. Connolly shouting held. Here's Kelly Shelford, chief troublemaker, feeds it out. Looked like a bit of an upstairs-ish tackle, however. John Connolly letting the game flow. No tackle is ruled there, and here's a kick right in front of us. Rolling into touch. Getting the usual chess game at the minute, Ron. 4 to 5 drives and a kick. Once it settles down, I think this is one of those games everyone will see on Sky tonight. Some of the best centres knocking about in the Rugby League are on view today with Bateman, Davis and Paul Loughlin. Should be plenty to watch.
Oh, there's no danger about that, Bill. Saints get scrum possession. It should be good. Obviously, I'll look forward to watching it again. As Saints move it out quickly. Steve Prescott has the ball now. Quick hands by the Saints. There's some excellent talent on view all over as the touch judge comes in on the far side. Obviously, a little bit of jiggery-pokery in at the tackle. But it's nice to... I know you mentioned it in the nice possible way about Shelford being the chief troublemaker. Obviously, in your side, and Thorne in our side. Makes a change from us being called troublemakers, Bill, doesn't it? But Saints get a penalty. Phil Beavers finds touch. 20, nearly 30 metres inside the Warrington half. John Harrison driving up. Obviously, John Neal missing today. Picked up another injury, unfortunately. John Neal been an outstanding forward in the Saints pack, along with George Mann, who is also injured. But Saints with the run-around movement, looking for the gap. Oh, Sean Casey couldn't take it. It looked an awkward ball. It went to ground. It'll be a scrum down with the Warrington feed. But Saints in Jonathan Griffiths' capable hands as the captain, bringing the ball over to the left, obviously with Shane Cooper, chief playmaker for the Saints, out injured. And Greg Mackey to feed, Bill.
Yeah, thanks, Ron. Mackey taking the ball there, feeds Mark Forster. Warrington on the back foot so far into the game then, got 12 minutes on the clock. It's 0-4. Saints with the one try, there's Lee Penny. Surging run. Warrington not settled down as yet, but that's because they've not been allowed to. Mike Gregory's unloaded a super ball. Big run in midfield there from Gary Chambers. Warrington finally getting the breast back. Saints dropping back the required 10. There's Thursfield, Roland Phillips. Paul Loughlin. GB centre involved in the tackle. So the ball will go midfield. It's Shelford looking for options. None forthcoming there. Imperative that Warrington record the win today to keep their faint championship hopes alive. Keeping the ball alive, great style there. Here's Greg Mackey, cuts. super tackle comes in from Griffiths. Match official allowing play to develop. Well, everything is going the Saints' way at the moment. There's a crash tackle from Kelly Shelford. Game starting to settle down, Ron.
Yes, Mackie unlucky there. He tried to squeeze the ball out. It did touch a Saints player and it came back. Cries for a knock-on from the Warrington faithful just behind us. I don't think it was, but the game is allowed to progress. And good handling there. But the referee, yes, an elbow going in. Penalising the Saints. Jonathan Griffiths maybe, or Tommy Hodgkinson it is. They do look so alike, obviously, on the field. But going in with a raised elbow is the indication, Bill, and that's what the referee has penalised the Saints for. Warrington, via Davis, are going to be back with possession just inside the Saints' half.
I would say there, Ron, referee's correct, but every player in the rugby league leads with their elbow. If you pulled them all up, we'd be here till Tuesday. However, there's Roland Phillips doing his job. 3 St Helens players involved. Hodgkinson in the tackle. Opposite number Thursfield is at acting half. That's Mackie for Chambers. Sonny Nicol in the tackle. So Warrington then finally in possession within the St Helens half. Greg Mackie switches it. Alan Bateman crashes onto the ball. Wriggles past one tackle. Last line of defence, Phil Vevers. Been doing super work like that for 10 years. It's Mike Gregory. Warrington bringing it to this short side. And Mark Forster. Inches short. We have a whistle for a forward pass. Warrington finally unveiling an attacking option there. We'll have a look at the clock.
A scrum down, Saints feed. Gus O'Donnell had come away with it. The ball being spread over to the right. Pickavance pushing the tacklers off and driving again. He's Pickavance. He's a big lad. Son, grandson I should say, of Saints director Joe Pickavance. Usually a second row man, but he has played on the wing and in the centre for Swinton, and he's showing his versatility here today and just carrying on where he left off at the Willers at Salford on Wednesday. Tommy Hodge at acting half-back. Change of direction by Andy Dannett. Last one of the sequence. Gus O'Donnell has possession. Kicks it downfield. Robbie Myler shouldn't have any problem. He's going to go dead. It is. The ball too deep. And the game will restart from the centre of the 20-metre line with a tap. 16 and a half minutes gone. Saints in the lead by 4 points to 0.
Warrington again, coming out from the quarter line. Hat-trick scorer last week, Mark Forster. Warrington player, I believe it's Roland Phillips, receiving attention midfield. Game progressing nicely. Paul Derbyshire there was outstanding last week. Twice Gus O'Donnell's kicked the ball long. It's run out on the full. Gary Chambers then. Warrington inching closer to the halfway line. Get to see them click into gear. Game has settled down now. Here it is, Phillips recovered. Has a yard and goes. Feeds Lee Penny. Ball going to ground there when a scoring chance was in the offering. That could prove costly at the end of the day, Ron.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, yes, maybe, Bill. But Phillips there, he's a forward. He's had to wait for his chance. Oh, yeah. He's been at Warrington a long while, and he's one that's impressed me this season so far. He's there, he's a big Welshman. He broke through clearly there, and Penny couldn't take it, and it'd have been 4 points all the way, and possibly 6. But Saints have weathered that storm, obviously with the lost ball by Penny, and Vevers has it. Well, that's a bit of a naughty tackle. It wasn't from a great height, but obviously the intent kind of thing was there. It's high-speed collision sport, and they just get hold of them, and these things just happen. Nothing really, how should I say, malicious, I would say, Bill, but it looked worse than it actually was.
Yeah, but the referee, he's got a brief that's given to him. Had to give the penalty. Yeah. Wouldn't expect, is it Lachlan kicking? Yes. To miss from there. Will make the score 6 points to 0. Super start for the Saints, of course. One thing I would say about the St Helens club run, no matter how the form's going, you can always come here and see the place 3/4 full. Not many clubs in the first division can say that.
No, that's true, even though we have had earlier in the season, obviously with things not going well under the Mike McLennan regime, the lowest crowd for, what they said, 12 or 15 seasons, 3,000 and odd, but they're in here today. Paul Lachlan from more or less straight in front, but about 45 metres out. It doesn't go between the uprights. Will receive ball possession. Well, hopefully, if Warrington don't find touch, but they're dropping out from the centre of the 20-metre line. Jonathan Davis kicks it up centre field, try and put a little bit of pressure on Phil Beavers, but he takes it comfortably, brings it over to the left, quickly dispatched to the earth. Bateman and Shelford, but John Harrison in again, another forward that's got to get back into the first team, obviously. As Andy Dannett goes through, support from Tommy Hodgkinson on his right, he gets it, but solid tackling there by Lee Penny, scrambling defence as they say by Warrington. Saints move it over to the right, Griffiths on to Nickel. The ball handling looking impressive this afternoon. Nearly 20 minutes gone. Sean Casey inside to John Griffiths. Nickel's there. Oh, Nickel just brought down short. Excellent tackling by the wire. Tommy Hodgkinson chips it through. It's a try. Sean Casey follows it up and he goes in for his second. Well, who would have thought it? Warrington put under pressure right on the 20th minute. And unfortunately, as far as you were concerned, Bill, Saints doing to Warrington what Warrington did to the Saints at Wilderspool on the more or less the 5th or 6th tackle, chipping it through. I think it was Tommy Hodgkinson, followed it up, Casey touched it down, and the Wire conceded another 4 points, Bill.
Certainly do. Score now reads 8-0 in the 20th minute. Sustained pressure from St Helens there. Bit of an element of luck. Ball looks to be bobbling about. Support players doing the job, doing it great style. Warrington then will have to come out now. If they needed to kick up the pants, they've just had one. Get no sterner warning than letting 2 tries in the first quarter of the game. Lachlan then looking to put the extra 2 on. He's successful. Score goes 10 points to 0, deservedly so, in the 20th minute.
Yes, Paul Lachlan pops that one over. His first out of 3 attempts, but it gives Saints a 10-point cushion. And maybe Warrington there are going to find it hard to come back from this. They are excellent competitors, as Bill was saying. I think he was on about the Leeds match where they nearly Warrington nearly let Leeds back into the game, but superior power proved right at the end. But Lachlan there, his 33rd goal of the season. Steve Prescott also kicked 17 goals for the Saints. But they're under the cosh of the wire, and 19 minutes remaining of the first half. As we say, we're in the director's box, and obviously the sun in our eyes as we look over to the Eddington corner. I hope you'll bear with us if we just make a few odd mistakes. But as I've often said before on our video, Bill, we don't make as many mistakes as the professionals, Ray French and all that sort of stuff, do we?
Oh, we're far better than them, Ron. Saints are at it again. Mark Forster with a super tackle there. I must say, Ron, Eric Hughes seems to have told the Saints players, get the ball out wide as often as they can. I think he thinks they've got the edge out wide, Ron.
Yes, maybe so, but anything's going to be an improvement on last Wednesday's performance. But Salford were outstanding, but the ball kicked deep downfield and putting pressure on Rob Myler. Saints have to give him the required 10 metres. They move up quickly, and in cases like that, when the ball's kicked upfield, the tackling game has got to be strong. On that occasion it was, and let's see if the Saints can contain the wire down in their own 20-metre area, Bill.
Well, the chase was good. Warrington coming out from the quarter line again. Paul Derbyshire running straight at John Harrison. Warrington looking to keep hold of the ball for a couple of minutes here. Compose themselves. As soon as the commentator speaks, it's out. Saints on the attack again, Ron.
Yes, I have that problem occasionally. Famous last words and all that sort of stuff. But the severity of the tackle shoot the ball out, and Paul Lachlan was there to accept it. Saints moving it over to the right now, as you said, moving it out wide. Ian Pickervance bustling in, looking for support there, turning in the tackle, but nobody there to accept it. Andy Dannett driving it up. Chris Joint onto Lachlan. Oh, Lachlan nearly. He just juggled with it. He had Andy Haig on his right, but it's now with Griffiths. Bateman tries to tackle him. Griffiths gets the ball out. Casey chips it through. The ball's still loose. Who comes up with possession? Warrington. Well, calls for offside, obviously, but Warrington come up with possession. Greg Mackey has it. Let's see if he can weave some of his magic, Bill.
Well, a bit of Greg Mackey magic required right now. Here's Shelford steaming onto the ball. 10 points in the game. Warrington needs to do something. Lee Penny goes down at half. Lee Penny's been absolutely but for him it'd be another 10 on the board. However, Chambers busted into the line. Jonathan Griffiths wearing 6 involved in the tackle. Here's Phillips then. 10 metres inside the St Helens half. Phillips keeping it tied in. Chris Joint unable to effect the tackle. Alan Bateman's fed Mark Forster. Options disappearing. Super pressure defence from St Helens there. Excellent defensive work being supplied. 10 in the game. We'll all have a look at the clock. We're now in the 25th minute. 14 minutes then for Warrington to try and get something on the board, and it will be a St Helens feed.
Yes, didn't Phillips do well there, Bill? He drove it up. Jonathan Griffiths completed the tackle. He still had hold of him round the legs, and then the Saints they came in, but they couldn't contain him. He stepped away, and then the ball going into touch. Scrum down with a Saints feed, yes, and Mark Hilton coming on. And Gary Chambers going off. And 25 minutes gone on the clock. Saints with ball possession. Andy Haig coming in field. Harrison driving it down the middle. A lot of these wingers on all the sides now throughout the First Division being asked to come in field for the early tackles, just in case they can break the first line of defence, and then with a superior pace they should be away. But Saints now, Andy Dannett running hard and strong, and he's another player that's coming on from strength to strength. A lot of the players were moved about in past regimes, but now holding a steady spot, and maybe that's holding a steady spot just because Saints haven't got the manpower. But every position up for grabs. A deep kick there, Bill, putting pressure on the wire, but it's head and ball, and Saints have been looking to contain the wire in the 20-metre area, and it's been quite end-to-end stuff, I think, really, even though Warrington nothing on the board, but it's still exciting rugby.
Yeah, sure is. Same pattern. Warrington only gain possession when they're deep inside their own quarter. There's Chris Joint, GB player in the tackle. So Mackey then has fed Lee Penny. Lee Penny, no options, disappears. Pick of Vance involved. Ball is at the quarter line. 10 points to 0. Here's Mike Gregory. Head down. Taking the tackles. This is Mark Hilton. Double tackle there. Guys coming in at this point. Tackles being used up. 7 metres short of the half. Shouts for a forward pass, and Mr. Connolly obliges. Bit of a 50-50 job that, I think, Ron.
Well, it didn't look all that bad from here, and I'm as biased as they come, Bill, but so they tell me. But it didn't look all that bad from here, but referee Connolly on the job, especially with the assistance of about 6,000 or 7,000 St Helens amateur referees in the crowd. As Phil Beavers links up from the back line. Lee Penny comes in, covers well, along with Alan Bateman, but now it's Sonny Nickel, midfield, pushes off two, still drives it forward. Solid tackling by the wire as Tommy Hodgkins converts his play. Tries to give the dummy, now gets the ball away to Beavers. Up the middle he goes. He'll take the tattle on the 20-metre line. Saints looking hungry, 10-0 in the lead, 27 minutes on the clock. Dannett again drives it up. Quick play the ball now, John Harrison. 6'7" of him, drives forward, last one of the sequence. Will the Saints have a go for a one-pointer? Yes, Gus O'Donnell looks wide from here. Yes, waved away. Shouldn't have missed that, Bill. Obviously all points are crucial, and a one-pointer and looking to get the ball back, but it's going to be Warrington that will start from the centre of the 20-metre.
Yeah, once again starting from their own red zone. Mark Forster there on the run going central. Here's Mike Gregory. Warrington still haven't been able to put 6 passes together. We'll look to take the ball into the St Helens half right now. Mark Hilton does just that. Big tackle there involving Harrison. So it's Mackey. Paul Derbyshire takes a short flat ball. Big shouts for a forward pass again. Never was. Ball will go midfield. It's Shelford. Throws it out for Ellis. Long risky pass. Jonathan Davis taking man and ball. Sarcastic cheers as usual when Davis is tackled. It is kick time then for Brian Johnson's men. Kelly Shelford. Warrington looking to run their kick. Roland Phillips adopts the safe route, chips it up. Phil Vevers under big pressure from Bateman taking there. Alan Bateman showing you exemplary work. Once again another attack coming to nothing. St Helens bringing it out with Haig. A dream game up to now for the St Helens run.
Oh yes, great, you can't grumble. I mean, obviously in possession, 10 points in the lead, 2 opportunist tries. Ball's loose, John Harrison lost it I think, and Shelford picks it up, and Wire back on the attack with Davis, and probably the best chance that they're going to get, well, up to now, that they've had up to now, Bill.
Yeah, they've been starved of striking range possession. They have it now with Kelly Shelford. Mike Gregory's gone. You'd think they were playing in the Challenge Cup semi-final, the intensity that's been shown. Kevin Ellis getting battered there, trying to keep the ball alive. Bit of a panic play, and Saints surging out again. Here's Ron.
Well, the idea was right there, Bill. The long pass tried to get Warrington in at the corner, but Saints moving up excellently, very quickly, and Prescott got the ball, he got up, but the tackling came in, the cover defence, and held him down, but Saints still have possession. Sonny Little, Tommy Hodges acting half back now with Chris Joint. Shelford completed the tackle, brought him down, Bateman tidies up. Saints still bring it blindside with Andy Dannett, and solid tackling again. Hurstfield, the hooker, excellently brought Dannett down. Now with Vevers for the kick downfield. Lee Penny should sit up nice for him. Well, he lets it go past him. I don't think he actually touched it. But oh yes, panic job, it was close that. But as the sun's gone in now, Bill, getting decidedly cold over here, isn't it? But I bet it's quite warm out there.
Quite warm, it's white hot. Still 10 in the game. Looked at the scoreboard then, thought it was things. We got the witness result. Anyway, ball's approaching halfway. Warrington starting to edge it slowly. Time in possession, and we have a man with a flag on the pitch. We will have a penalty awarded for the Warrington club. Not sure what went on. I believe Mr. Pickavance is being summoned to the headmaster's study. Gets his 100 lines, looks innocent, goes away, and we'll get on with the game. Warrington have been starved of striking range possession. Jonathan Davis puts long yardage on there. So Warrington will get a full set, maybe 24 metres out, approaching half-time now. Need a score. Mark Hilton, head down. Sun comes out again to torment me and Ron. Here's Roland Phillips. Turns and looks for support. Thursfield provides it. Greg Mackey's switching play goes midfield. Joint affects the tackle. Warrington could do with something right now. Kelly Shelford looking to supply it. Cuts inside again. Super attack, super defence. Top class rugby league here at Knowsley Road. Paul will be coming away from our camera position. There's Kevin Ellis. Jonathan Davis has switched sides. Has fed the ball out. Lee Penny in support. Looks to evade a highest shot. Casey involved in the tackle. It is kick time. We have a scuffle. Behind play. Game's progressing. We've got an ugly incident in midfield. Warrington keeping it alive. Paul Derbyshire's being caught in possession. Everything's happening. Now I think that the touch judge, Ron, should bring play back. I don't know who's responsible for the scuffle. However, things are starting to boil up.
Yes, just temper's getting a little frayed, and Gus O'Donnell and Alan Bateman just having a little tete-a-tete. But the touch judge did come on and separate them. But yes, the Saints player injured. Jeanette Smith, Saints physio, being brought on quickly. Yes, it is a bad injury by the looks of things, and the doctor for the Saints being called on. The referee stopped it straight away. The touch judge on this side just going reporting in about the little scuffle, but I just can't make out who's injured. Whether it's Big John Harrison or not, I just can't see. But obviously another injury to the Saints.
Is recovered, are able to carry on. We can cut out the niggling and get back to some football.
Yeah, well, Saints are going to be bringing substitute Mike Riley on for John Harrison. He's going to go in the sin bin. He's been led the blood bin, I beg your pardon. I stand corrected. I stand corrected. the blood bin. John Harrison off after 34 minutes. So Riley on, and obviously as Warrington made a substitution, Bill, I don't think they had one fella stripped off, but Derbyshire, he must be all right now. Yes, Saints still have possession, leading 10 points to nil, and 6 minutes, well, 6 minutes on my watch, but only it's 8 minutes on the scoreboard. But Saints still have possession. Pickavance coming through again, looking very sharp again this afternoon, causing havoc in the Warrington defence. Saints bringing it to their left. Chris Joint, but well tackled. Last one of the sequence. The ball to Loughlin, puts a tester up. Sun in the eyes of Myler, but he takes it well. Gussadolo comes in to close him down, but he winds past him. He's brought down just inside the Saints half.
Thanks, Ron. I do feel, I don't want to be biased, that Warrington are starting to creep back into this game now, spending more and more time in the opposition half. Here's Roland Phillips. Looks to unload, keeps it tied in, had support there. Took no risks, however. Here's Shelford then. Jonathan Davis has a yard. Jonathan Davis, ankle tap tackle. Tremendous tackle from Paul Loughlin. Foot on the gas sign for the Warrington club now then. Kevin Ellis unloads. Lee Penny's cropped up in the line. So then, Greg Mackey organising the troops, is in possession now, looks for runners. Mike Gregory's taking possession. Lee Penny once again. Well wrapped up there from Chris Joint. Tackles have gone. The game is getting closer and closer, building into a tremendous tussle run.
Yes, the Warrington man playing the ball there, he didn't know, well, it's worth a go, Bill, of course it is, didn't get away with it. But it looked all on the try there for Warrington as Davis came through. But Loughlin, as Bill rightly called it, tapped his ankles, and it was a try saver in the end. Saints restart just short of the halfway line. Chris Joint, right in front of our commentary position, but obviously on the opposite side to our camera work. So if we get the rights and lefts wrong, you'll have to excuse us. Dannett gets the ball out to Andy Haig. Limited chances from this young fellow. He's not actually in touch. It's a Warrington body that was on the line. Good tackling there by Mark Foster. But Saints is still in possession, and Sonny Nicol trying to bust the line. He gets the ball back. Steve Prescott, blistering pace from this lad. Let's see what he can do. He releases the ball. Mike Riley, he brings it in field. Takes a strong challenge, but Saints still move it out. Sean Casey, long ball to Haig, takes the tackle of Forster. Good rugby by both sides, good defence and good attack. Griffiths and Nicol. Nicol takes it across field, releases it there. Ian Pickavance looking for support. The ball's still moving. It's going to be Warrington. Saints tried to spread it out, but Saints with another injury. Andy Haig taking a knock, a right knee injury, but it's Warrington that's back in possession.
Yeah, tremendous rugby league being played here now. Roland Phillips trying to keep it going, looks to unload again. He's finally tackled by two Saints. Ball 12 metres shy of the game, less than 4 to the break. Mark Hilton midfield. So, after that little burst of excitement, little calm period again. Warrington still the 10 down. Risky ball from Mackey, tidied up by Ellis. Kelly Shelford. Ball's at the half. John Thursfield then for Alan Bateman. Bateman elects to kick the ball. There's a rarity. Sets off in pursuit. It's a comedy play. A tackle breaking out right on the touchline. Here's a decision for somebody to make. I'm trying to peer through a drain pipe and a post. We have a scrum down with a Warrington feed. Do you agree with that, Ron?
Well, Steve Prescott came over, he went on the ball, and it certainly looked as though he'd knocked it forward, and the touch judge actually gave the decision, Bill. So, as you say, our eye line just a little bit obscured, but whatever we think about it, Bill, the referee makes his decision, and we've got to put up with it, haven't we?
That is correct. So then we'll have a replay of that scrum. Still 10 in the game, dying minutes. Warrington could do with a score to set up a nail-biting second half. Lee Penny's arrowing through. Lee Penny's got his head back. There is a tremendous try from Lee Penny. You saw the scrum, we had to have 2 goals at it. The ball was moved across the field. went through a couple of pairs of hands. Lee Penny surged onto the ball, arrowed in. I'll try and get Ron to forget his bias. We're going to have a great second half now, Ron.
Oh, well, it's been a great game all together, Bill. 39 minutes on my watch, 37 on the scoreboard, but excellent try there. Yeah, all right, Brian, 37 minutes, all right.
That's all good,
But excellent try there by Penny, linked up, and it should have been his second, Bill, to be quite honest. He bombed one a bit earlier, but Saints being under pressure, Prescott adjudged to have knocked on from the scrum feed. The ball moved out quickly, a big hole in the Saints defence. Penny went through it, even though Saints were on his tail, but he still banged it down over the whitewash, and 10 points to 4 with this conversion to come, Bill.
Yeah, Lee Penny there, you can't praise him enough, so I won't. Jonathan Davis then, looking to close the game down. 6 in it at the moment. Would expect Davis to be successful.
And good spade work by Roland Phillips. Outstanding forward in your side this afternoon. Running well and getting shut of the ball well. Taking the tacklers and still unloading.
Well, like you said before, he's had a long apprenticeship, but he's loving it now. Davis is successful with the kick. So, whatever you're doing, don't go away. We have a game on situation. The half-time score will read 10 points to 6, which I think is a fair reflection of the play. Still waiting for, I think it was Harrison who went away after the Scone against Scone incident a few minutes ago. We've had some tremendous rugby league being played. Everybody's deserving winning pay at this point. St Helens will restart shortly then. I think St Helens, they've been having a bit of a rough trot run. They're not one of those teams that will finish outside the top 8. I doubt if the top 4, don't want to upset anyone. Where would you predict they'll finish, Ron?
Well, who knows? Where's the old side, don't they, Bill? Tell you in May, April or May. But we've never been out of the top 8 since we've been in the one division situation, 1973 and all that. Usually up and there and about. Warrington, pretty lean period as of late. We're obviously looking to try and secure the championship. Hard job, especially with the Pie Eaters up there, 4 years on the trot. Excellent unit, the Pie Eaters, aren't they? But just let's hope they come unstuck. Well, a minute and 40 seconds of injury time played, but the half-time score with Penny going over a couple of minutes before the interval, it leaves it at Saints 10, Warrington 6. 2 tries from Sean Casey in the 7th and the 20th minute. The latter converted by Loughlin. Saints with a 10 points to 0 lead, but excellent try there after a mistake by the Saints. Lee Penny powered over, linked up well from the full-back position. Davis called it. Excellent second. We'll join you, or you should say, hope you can join us shortly. 10-6, the half-time score. Well, back with you now for the second half of the Stones Bitter League clash. Just before we get underway, I received a letter today, obviously from an ardent supporter of my good self and our Saints video. I want to give a special mention for the youngest ever Saints supporter, who's Jack Barnes, enrolled at the Saints as a Saints spectator, or Saints supporter I should say, at 5.5 hours old. He was born on the 4th of January this year. Best wishes from Dad Richard and Mum. Unfortunately I haven't got Mum's name, but Jack Barnes, 5.5 hours old when enrolled as the youngest Saints supporter, and Richard Barnes is his dad, and his brother-in-law is being semi-converted to rugby league from soccer due to our excellent rugby coverage. But we're underway for the second half. 10-6 the half-time score, and Warrington in possession.
Yes, game delicately poised, 10 points to 6. St Helens had 30 of the 40 minutes in the first half. Warrington just got the 10, managed to get a score in. Here's Mark Hilton, surging central. Thursfield for Roland Phillips, who Ronnie likes the look of. Phillips going well there. Chris Joint exactly with Sonny Nicol. It's Mackie in midfield, misses out Mike Gregory. Kevin Ellis, long ball. Warrington starting, how do you mean to continue? Alan Bateman in possession. Kick time then for Warrington in green and white stripes. Ball goes midfield. Greg Mackey lifts a cross-field kick. Looks to be a bit strong from here. Rolls out on the full. And I still wouldn't like to put Ron's tenner on the outcome of the game.
Never had a tenner in my life, old lad. But yes, you never know. Saints restart from the centre of the 20-metre line. John Harrison back on the field, patched up after we think a clash of heads. Was taken off straight away. I think Mike Riley has returned to the bench, Bill, and as we were. But Saints in possession, Sonny Nicol, quick hands, on to Steve Prescott, he sidesteps infield, Prescott at the third attempt, he's brought down by prop forward Roland Phillips. Saints move it out left, Sean Casey, well-timed ball to Paul Loughlin, good cover defence there by the wire. Joint chips it through, chases his own kick up, trying to put pressure on the wire as Joint pushes him over the line. Well, looked a little bit complacent there, Bill, for me. Joint kicked it through, he followed it up. It was Mark Forster that took his time and he was held over the line, Bill.
Sure was, you can say that, but I tell you what, being held over the line, a lot better than doing nothing and conceding a score. Another full score for the St Helens club now. Would leave Warrington with mountains to climb. However, like I've said, I wouldn't like to predict the game. There's the restart. Here's Ron.
Yes, Sonny Nicol receives it from Gus O'Donnell. He drives in, Nicol, head down and keeps going. Mackie, one of the tacklers there, last to get off, along with Paul Derbyshire. Now with Sonny Nicol, brings it over to Steve Prescott. Prescott goes without it. Warrington gather possession. Will the Saints' fitness be able to withstand this Warrington barrage that they're bound to get in the second half? 10 points to 6 to score, early minutes in the second half, and Warrington in possession.
Yep, Warrington finding themselves 9 metres shy of the half. 4 points in the game. Mackey, Ellis sees a involved in the tackle, pick of hands, bit of a loose arm. Game's going on. Touch judge right in front of us, indicates a knock on. I didn't believe it was. Whatever, the match official's view is the one that counts. Ron will talk you through it.
Well, I didn't see a knock on there either, Bill, just watching it. Obviously a lot of mauling at the tackle, but the touch judge gives that one as the referee looked for a little bit of divine guidance. I'm sure we can give him a bit of divine guidance. But Saints move it over. The ball's lost. Saints just couldn't control it. Alan Bateman in possession of Owen, siding through the Saints defence.
Alan Bateman stepping super style. Warrington with the foot on the gas. Roland Phillips piling into the defensive line. Everything's happening here. Early stages of the second half, but only in the third minute of the second half. Here's Kevin Ellis, ball's at the quarter line. Ellis looks to switch play. Mike Gregory. There's another handling error. Warrington lucky to come away without conceding possession there. Mike Gregory's going central. Tackled inside the St Helens red zone. Warrington spent precious little time there in the first half. Need to capitalise on being there now. Shelford's unloaded for Mackey. Mackey spins through one tackle. Promising build-up. Being allowed to develop. Kevin Ellis gets shut to Sonny Nicol, who then follows up with a late elbow. John Connolly spotted that. Well, I'll tell you what, use of the elbow, we saw it once in the first half. It's creeping into the game. The trainer's coming on. I don't suppose anybody's going to get a card out, but we don't need to see that creep into the game, Ron.
Well, you don't, Bill, but as you say, a lot of it is used now. They seem to go in, holding the ball high with the elbow pointing. But referee there saying he's gone in with a thump. Yeah. And the actual point is where the penalty has been given, as pointed out by Bill, has been moved, you could say 5 to 10 metres to the right of the actual position where the offence took place, because the man was still on the floor receiving treatment. But referee Connolly not picking that up. A chance for Warrington. Obviously they can't. Well, I suppose they could, but they don't want to concede any points off the Saints early in the second half. They have a chance now to bring the deficit to 2. Davies' trusty boot. 5 minutes gone of the second half. An indiscretion by Sonny Nicol, I think it was, allegedly going in with a punch, and Davies converts it, and the Wire back within 2 points, Bill.
Yeah, Warrington coming out the strongest of the 2 in the 5 that have been played here in the second half. 3 tries in this excellent game. Up to now, St Helens restart, short kick-off. Roland Phillips takes it one-handed, turns and has a look. Sprinting hard, Sonny Nichols at him. Phillips keeps going. Hodkinson turns up wearing 9, joins the party, and Phillips is finally grounded. Is Mark Hilton then. Sonny Nicol in the tackle. You've got to wonder if these lads who have done such a sterling job for the Saints today can keep the fitness levels up. Kelly Shelford dragging the St Helens defence with him. Ball is on the halfway line. It's Mackey. Look for Ellis. Roland Phillips takes a dodgy pass. Warrington starting to dictate play then. Ball is central within the St Helens half. Mike Gregory sprinting through the centres. Comes out, rolls into touch. Must be some cold fingers out there, huh?
I would imagine there's some cold fingers up here out love with us, isn't there? But excellent play by Warrington. Moved it over to the right. Gregory trying to slip the ball out to Mark Forster. Went directly into touch. Scrum down Saints' feed. Warrington had been coming through well there, Bill, and Saints have got to get the tackle in numbers, 2s and 3s. They've got to get the man round the legs. He can't go without the legs. But Joint there going through. Obviously the Wire there, they're not bringing Chris Joint down. Can the Saints stand the pace? And it's been a hectic pace throughout the game. Well, the referee shouted for a high tackle. It didn't look all that bad from here, Bill. I mean, he's 6'7", Harrison, but it didn't look all that bad, did it?
Well, to be honest with you, Mr. Harrison was quite surprised by all of that. However, referees have got a hard enough job to do. Paul Loughlin feels sorry for the Wire and kicks it behind him.
Yes, hooks it a bit there. Must gained about 2 or 3 metres. But it's Saints now with the possession, and let's see if they can penetrate this Warrington defence. 8 minutes gone of the second half. 10 points to 8 the score. And Big John Harrison driving it up the centre. Griffiths the captain, bringing on Ian Pickavance. It turns into the Warrington defence. Tommy Hodgkinson from acting halfback, moves it left. Sean Casey.
Championship hopes, St Helens trying to show their coach Eric Hughes that they're all worth a shirt next week. There's a surging run, driven hard into the Saints half. Was Mark Hilton. Here's Mackey. Blitz. Sucking in defenders. On that occasion, 2 tackles used up. 4 metres inside the opposition half. It's Greg Mackey. Switch play for Kelly Shelford. Alan Bateman's gone. Alan Bateman streaking through. Alan Bateman gets the ball away. The Warrington 3-quarter, being Mark Foster, I believe, overran the ball. No, it's Lee Penny. My apologies. Warrington supplying electrifying rugby league at this point then. I've been under the cosh, wakening up. There's Kelly Shelford going midfield. Warrington inching it closer and closer, just the 2 in the game. Kevin Ellis feeds Jonathan Davis. The ball goes to ground. At long last run, we're starting to see some players.
Yes, it's still exciting, Bill. It's been exciting rugby all through. 50 minutes we've had of pulsating action. And Jonathan Davis putting the ball back down there, and Warrington were putting Saints under the cosh. It's Tommy Hodgkinson bringing the ball away. Well, looked a little bit dubious there, the action, but play allowed to go on. Chris Joint, certainly end-to-end stuff.
these one-pointers. Not had a try in this game now since the 38th minute. Possession and territory being shared. We've had near misses, drill spills at both ends. Meanwhile, St Helens are in possession, looking to build long, and I still won't put Ronnie's tenner on the outcome.
But it's good value for money, Bill, isn't it? There's no danger. As you said, those people that are not converted to rugby league yet, games like this, they certainly should whet their appetite. John McAtee on for Tommy Hodgkinson in the Saints line-up, and Saints in possession. That'll probably mean Gus O'Donnell moving to hooker. John McAtee to scrum half. Well, that's touched en route. Warrington come up with possession. McAtee comes in and makes the first challenge, stops the man, and Griffiths comes in and completes the tackle. Wire back in possession, moving it out quickly. John Davis has the ball. He's taken down on the 20-metre line, but 11-8 to score, and pulsating action, Bill.
Certainly is. Right in front of our commentary position here. Sonny Nicol in the tackle, Rob Myler on the end of it. There's Mark Hilton, man with many years in front of him, will have a huge rugby league career, will one day pull on a GB shirt. However, Kelly Shelford has gone to the boot. Deft chip, McAtee. First touch of the ball, super touch it is. Possession once again for St Helens. We're now within the last quarter of the game. 3 points in it.
Yes, Paul Loughlin has the ball, and it's the Saints now. They've got the motivation. They're in the lead 11 points to 8. A try and a goal for the Saints, and see this wire outfit off this afternoon, I feel. But it's getting it and doing it is the hard job. Griffiths working the loop with McAtee. Griffiths onto joint. Super cover defence by the wire. But Saints moving upfield, looking to get points on the board. Jarrett out to Haig on the far side. Took a leg injury earlier on, but looks okay now. The last one of the sequence. Griffiths chips it. Warrington come up with possession. Griffiths tried to angle it, moving over to the right and tried to angle it to the left. But there's my man of the match for Warrington, Roland Phillips, doing the spade work again, Bill.
Yeah, Roland Phillips having one of those games you can dream about. Jonathan Davis having one of those breaks you can only dream about. Lee Penny's up. Rob Myler will score the try. Well, Rob Myler's touchdown right behind the post in the 63rd of 80 minutes. You've got to say there was a huge element of luck about that. It all came initially from Roland Phillips siding up at the back. Jonathan Davis found himself in possession, raced up the touchline, put a kick in. Wasn't going to make the ball, tried to con the penalty, nobody was having it. Bit of a mix-up from a Saints defender. Lee Penny was involved, Rob Myler tidied up. That could well be the game breaker. Well, if this game is going to be decided at this point, it would have to be by a try with a bit of luck in it, and there was plenty involved in that run.
Well, there was, Bill, but excellent drive, as you say. Phillips at the back, took it up well, give it to Davis. Super side step, as we know, kicked it down, as you said, Bill. Nice to hear you said that. He tried to milk the penalty, running to Phil Beavers, but young Prescott, he couldn't tidy it up. He was under a lot of pressure from Lee Penny and Rob Myler. The ball squirmed from under Prescott's body, and Myler picked it up. The referee allowed play to go on, rightly so, and there's the 4 points, and that puts it into 6 with Davis converting it. And 17 minutes of the game to go, perhaps against the run of play, but as you say, the element of luck, and that's how it goes, isn't it?
Well, when you get two evenly matched teams at any sport and they're all excelling themselves, which everybody is, usually find that it needs a stroke of luck to decide the issue, but it's not been decided yet anyway. So, Warrington is streaming out. Mark Forster, don't want to put the blockers on him, looking for his 100th career try for the club. Won't get it from there. There's a bit of interference at the play the ball. Mike Gregory is tackled on the quarter line. We've had a bit of drama, a bit of tragedy, a bit of everything here at Knowsley Road today. The Sky cameras following Warrington about everywhere they go, giving value and entertainment. St Helens only finding themselves 3 points down. When everybody was reading the rugby league press over the weekend, they would have expected Warrington to win this 96-3. However, that has not been the case. Mark Hilton working hard midfield. John Thursfield is at the half. Kelly Shelford scoots into St Helens territory. John Connolly's got his right arm raised in his kick sign. Look for a Skyer to be supplied here. Davis. Not a Skyer, positional kick. We have possession for the Saints once again. And here they come on attack.
Yes, Andy Haig takes the ball cleanly. An awkward bouncing ball, well angled by John Davis. Phil Beavers comes up, as we said before, Warrington in the lead for the first time after 62 minutes with that minor try converted by Davis. 14-11 to score. Still plenty of time. Saints get the ball out. McAtee out to Joint, and Joint straightens it up the middle. Oh, good tackling, good cover defence. And no doubt Brian Johnson, the Warrington coach, he'll have rallied his troops at half time. And now they're in the lead, they know what they've got to do. Awkward ball by McAtee, well taken by Pick of Anthony, drives again. Lively character this McAtee, a couple of appearances in the first team for the Saints. But he's in there again this afternoon, we know what he can do. And Loughlin in the clear, can he be squeezing into the corner? He can, good cover tackling on the far side. But Saints take up the running, it's the last tackle. Sonny Nicol, can he squeeze in? Can he get the ball out? Nicol still going. Oh, look at the swarming Warrington defence. They're still there over him. Well, he finally got into ground. But as you say, Bill, what an effort by the Saints on the last tackle.
Well, when you get end of season tapes, you all concentrate on the long range tries. Have a look at that grit from Sonny Nicol there. And everybody, all hands on deck on defence. That's what rugby league's about. These guys aren't multi-millionaires, that's the effort they put in. The least you can do is turn up and watch them. That's enough of that. Warrington in possession, it's Greg Mackey. Roland Phillips. Phillips step in, getting shut of tacklers. Roland Phillips refusing to accept tackles. I've just told you how these blokes earn the money, there's another illustration. It's Thursfield for Mark Hilton. Now you're seeing rugby league professionals gritting their teeth, digging into reserves of energy and commitment, motivation. It's all on show. Jonathan Davis, one of the class acts in World Rugby League, right-footed, chips into the pocket. Another class act in World Rugby League, Phil Beavers, breaks the quarter. Here's Ron.
Yes, good boot downfield. Beavers takes it comfortably. Shelford following it up, and Paul Loughlin now certainly looks as though he's regained a little bit of his composure there after a bad spell, as Harrison gets it away to McAtee, but he knocks it forward, bounces the ball down in disgust. 17-10 at Wilderspool, and in the Regal Trophy, as Davies goes through, taken by Sean Case in the Regal Trophy here at Nosey Road. Saints lose it out by 16-8, but it's Warrington again. Greg Mackey putting plenty pressure on.
Thanks, Ron. Warrington surging once again. Here's a try coming up. Mike Gregory. Well, St Helens were short in numbers out wide. Tremendous handling from the Warrington club. That should well be the game breaker. Ex-Great Britain skipper Mike Gregory in his testimonial year, crashing over there. 68 minutes. He saw Jonathan Davis in full flow. Didn't release the ball for Rob Myler. Tackle was affected upon Jonathan Davis. Warrington shifted the ball quick style out wide, and Mike Gregory crashed over, leaving Davis a difficult kick.
Can they withstand the pressure for full 80 minutes? Lots of injuries in the camp. It's no excuse, you've got to put up with them. It happens to all teams. And Saints there maybe just reeling against the little bit of pressure that Warrington put on them, but a good try again. And who gave the last pass, Bill? Roland Phillips, I think it was, to Gregory. Good handling, good quick handling. The man, he's played out of his skin, and he must be the Warrington man of the match by far. But will it be the knockout blow for the Saints? 18-11 to score. Difficult one for Davis. We know he can pop them over from all angles. But at 18-11, 7, it's going to be 9 points, isn't it? Yes, 9 points if he gets it. Oh, that's all the way, that. Yes, all the way. Excellent goal by Davis. 20 points to 11. An uphill battle for the Saints, there's no danger about that. 10 minutes remaining. Mike Gregory just scored the try and he's gone off, and who's come back on, Bill, do we know? Chambers just being prompted, thank you to our friend, but Chambers back on the field. Saints will restart. Gus O'Donnell and Phillips is there again.
So then, Warrington not taking possession from that St Helens restart. St Helens have got to score quick style. Phil Vevers is capable of doing just that. Takes a huge shot in the tackle there. A crashed tackle coming in from Dave Elliott. Once again, recap, score reads 20 points to 11 in favour of the visitors. Harrison there has been outstanding all afternoon. Well, there's an arm in the tackle. John Connolly is mistaken, but John Connolly's only human when all's said and done. He is entitled to make the odd, how can I say it? Mess
Error.
up. Error, yeah, error. I was going to say something else, but I won't.
Who says he's human?
Little bit of a remark there from my colleague, Ronnie Hoof. Whatever. Warrington are trying to keep alive championship hopes. They've got to rely on other results.
Yeah.
Chambers for Hilton was a substitution. My apologies. Mike Gregory still on the park. Pacey second rower Dave Elliott attacking the halfway line. Me and Ronnie did say that there could be a difference in match fitness. That has turned out to be the case in the second half. I believe we've got a bit of a shot in the tackle there. Who came out from the Warrington contingent, which is easily as large as the Saints contingent today. Greg Mackey. Greg Mackey sprinting and going. Cuts play, looks for support. Super intelligent work from Mackey there. Try scorer, Mike Gregory, back to his international form. Goes down on the quarter line. This is starting to turn into one-way traffic. Roland Phillips, the man who can, does, and just does. So then the ball is thrown for Mackey. David Elliott. Elliott surging into the defensive line. Warrington now well within striking range. It is kick time. It is well worth the 1 pointer now. Jonathan Davis obliges. Score now reads St Helens 11, Warrington 21. Without dressing it up or sounding fancy, Ron, I think that's that.
Yes, maybe so, Bill. 21-11. 10 point cushion. Saints were 10 points up, but Warrington clawed the way back slowly but surely. 8 minutes, so time running out for the Saints, and Warrington getting in front. I think it may have been a different kettle of fish if the Saints had got in front, but it's surprising. As we said, Bill, fitness is going to be the key thing. Warrington have come to life. Obviously, that try there by Myler after that little bit of luck. You've got to have that, and Warrington never looked back. Capitalised with another Gregory try and then a Davis drop goal. So the Wire in possession and the Saints under the cosh.
Well, that little slice of luck in Rob Myler's try has now turned the game. Whatever. Gary Chambers unloads there. Kelly Shelford still looks sprightly as though he's playing in the 5th minute of the game. Ducking and diving midfield. He's finally put away. McAtee involved in the tackle. Here's Derbyshire. Saints drop back to the halfway line on defence. Still time for a couple of scores in this game. Roland Phillips. Lots of forwards are coming back into contention at Wilderspool now. We've got Phil Sumner and Bob Jackson to name but two, so the props have got to work hard to keep their jerseys. Craig Teitzel's not been available today. Another name that's got to be fitted into the pack. Things are coming right at Wilderspool, just in time for the you-know-which cup, where the finals played you-know-where. So then, there's lively winger Prescott. He has looked a bit of a handful to me today. Paul Derbyshire getting involved in the party. St Helens, no option but to throw the ball about, Ron.
Yes, and that's what they're doing. Pickavance was leading the way, got the ball away, but super defence there as Greg Mackey came in, and now it's with Dannett. On to Chris Joynt, he takes it up the centre, he's looking for support. It was a bit late coming, but Loughlin was there, but then he was tied up with Joynt and couldn't release it. Sonny Nickel running out wide. 100% improvement by the Saints on the midweek thrashing by Salford. The Saints move it again, try to let the ball do the work. Casey and Beavers, and now Loughlin coming in on the opposite diagonal, and now McAtee nearly getting caught up there. Nearly an obstruction. The referee lets it go, and it's the last tackle. Joint chips it through. I don't know whether you saw midweek, Bill, in the after the Salford defeat. There was a little bit, I don't know, it was one of the local, one of the daily papers. It was on about Eric Hughes saying that the fitness wasn't up to his standard. He's had them all on bikes, a 20-mile bike run. Somebody commented that the side came in looking like extras from Rawhide after riding. And I believe one player commented, Bill, that he said his bottom was like a blood orange, but he'll get them fit in the end. But it's Wyre back in possession.
Well, all I can say to that is we all know that rugby league players like bikes. Think about that. Anyhow, Ron's already picked out for the Warrington man of the match, that man right there, Roland Phillips. I would take issue with Ron there. I think Lee Penny pulled off enough match-saving tackles when Saints were running away with it. He kept Warrington in the game. For my man of the match for St Helens, Ron will get to that in a minute. I think I'd pick out Andy Dannett. He's worked tirelessly. So whatever, the ball is back within the St Helens half. Here's Mackey, Kelly Shelford, super passing move. Alan Bateman takes the tackle, and here's Ron to tell you who the St Helens man of the match is.
Well, they've given it to Chris Joint, but obviously it's been a good team performance. Anything, as I said, better than the other night's performance. They've all grafted well. Obviously with problems in the camp with injuries, 9 or 10 players out injured. Dannett there is... we have 2 men on the match here, like we do have 2, you know, one the sponsors, Bill, right. And one is the McEwens.
9,000 by the way.
Is that what they give you? Yeah, 9,000 the crowd. Excellent rugby this afternoon. Unfortunately, as far as I'm concerned, the Saints on the wrong end of a 21-11 scoreline. The tackle looked a little bit high as he went through. Jonathan Griffiths going through. The referee right on the job, gives Saints a penalty. But we're talking 4 minutes or less to the final whistle. 21-11 to score. Dannett and Joint, the men of the match for the Saints, the sponsors and the McEwens. But it's 10 metres inside the Warrington half. John Harrison straightens it up. Obviously it's something for Saints coach Eric Hughes to build on, even though a bitter defeat for the Saints. As I say, only winning 2 of the last 7 games, and now it's only going to be winning 2 of the last 8 games, isn't it? And those were close encounters. Hull KR here at home, 23-22. Mike McLennan's last match, 24-16. They beat Widnes here on the 2nd of Jan, and earlier in the season, that's 16 each draw against Halifax. Also on Sky as well. Chipped over the top, Prescott's chasing it. Oh, he couldn't get a favourable bounce. Warrington allowed to, have they took the ball dead? Well, we couldn't see much of that, Bill, could we? A little bit of a catalogue of errors. Well chipped through. Prescott chased it. I think the Warrington man tidied up. And the ball must have been taken dead and a drop out from between the sticks.
Well, you've just described the St Helens there as having a bitter defeat. I don't think I'd put that word on it. They've worked tirelessly, performed well. Blokes have come in, done a good job. For the Warrington cars, after the heartbreaker against Wigan, which now seems like months ago, they've reached down, showed depth of character, battered Leeds, come here. I've had one of those wins where they've exceeded themselves without being exciting most of the time. They've worked tirelessly on defence and have set it up for the visit of Oldham next week. St Helens refusing to die, not throwing the towel in, and have been a credit to the game run.
Well, it's been a credit to the game of rugby league, both sides, as McAtee looks for the gap, gets it away to Loughlin. Now it's on to Pickavant. He chips it through for the corner.
Well done.
Touchdown over the line by the left wing, Rob Myler. So under pressure again, Saints trying to put on you, Brian. Thanks very much. But Saints putting Warrington under pressure, but too late in the game. 21-11 the score. Less than 2 minutes remaining, and in quick succession, Warrington having to drop out from between the sticks. Jonathan Davis pops it up. Chris Joint takes it well, and he'll go straight back at the Wyre defence. He moves it over to the left. Bob Jackson, Mike Gregory, I beg your pardon, thinking of Bob Jackson. He's out injured, isn't he? Billy been out for a while, and he's been a credit to the game there with the Wyre. The Australian forward. Griffiths onto Paul Loughlin. Looked very sharp. Regained a bit of his confidence, or a lot of his confidence. McAtee drawing the man in. He feeds it to Pickavance. He backs into the defence. He's still stood in the tackle. There's the final hooter. Bang on the 40-minute time, make it there. No stoppage time at all. But the final score here at St Helens is Saints 11. Take it with you. I'm not taking it. Saints 11, Warrington 21. 10-6 for the Saints at half-time. Davis opened the scoring with a penalty goal in the second half after 5 minutes. Then an O'Donnell drop goal, 11-8. The game finally poised. Then a try by Myler, converted by Davis after a bit of a mix-up after Davis had chipped through. Then a Gregory try after some good work again. Roland Phillips involved in both of those. And then a Davis drop goal 8 minutes before the end. But a convincing win, really, for the Wire Bill. Bitter defeat for the Saints, as I've said, but they have competed. It's been an excellent game of rugby, hasn't it?
Well, any sports fans who watch that, whether you like soccer, cricket, darts or whatever, you'd have to be impressed with those blokes, all of them. They have worked hard, some big hits have been supplied, the discipline was great. John Connolly's had a big afternoon. Superb advert for Rugby League, whatever you're doing next Sunday afternoon. If you've never been to a pro Rugby League ground, get to one. You get value for money. There's not a club will turn you away. From Bill Stewardson, bye-bye from Knowsley Road. Here's Ron.
Yes, thanks, Bill. And before we go, obviously, I mentioned to the matchday mascot today, Sarah Hayes, 6.5 years of age. She'll be disappointed at the results. And also a special mention for the Saints' youngest ever supporter. He was enrolled at 5.5 years of age. Jack Barnes, born on the 4th of January this year. Best wishes from his dad Richard and also his mum, and from your Saints and Warrington video outfit. Thanks for joining us. See you soon. Saints are at Lee next week. Let's hope that Saints are not the first ones to go down under the Lee Kosh this season, the first actual two-pointer. So thanks for joining us. Final score here at Knowsley Road. Saints 11, Warrington 21.